Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The honorable examiners and supervisor of this final examination, a good morning or good afternoon in this special occasion. I am Intan Inggis, a student of Office Administration of Education 2018, Faculty Economics, University of Jakarta. I would like to thank to the examiners who have given me an opportunity to present about my proposal research with the title The Effect of Workload, Work Stress, and Work-Family Conflict on Burnout in Employees. Well, my proposal research consists of 3 chapters. First, preliminary, second, literature review, and the last, research method. Well, I start the presentation. This research is motivated by the work from home policy that is widely applied by several companies in Indonesia as a form of change in the world of work caused the COVID-19. These policies can be an obstacle for employees in achieving good performance. In its application, sometimes employees experience an excessive workload. The increase in workload can start from employees affected by layoffs where their work will be delegated to employees who are not affected by layoffs. In addition to the increased workload, stress can also arise when employees meet the demand of work during work from home. Role imbalance will also if employees are unable to balance the two roles, namely roles in the work and family, which in the end this condition can trigger burnout in employees. If employees experience burnout, employee performance will be poor and the pace of company development will be disrupted. Next, there is some data that I have from relevant research as a reinforcer of the phenomenon that has been described. The first point, say as many 65% of workers saw symptoms of burnout. The data was taken from Davis Article's research in 2020 with the same research topic. Next, the result of a Deloitte study in 2020 found that as many 44% of millennials employees were vulnerable to exposure to burnout syndrome. In addition to these data, I also conducted a free research at the beginning of study involving 30 company employees. Here the free research again. Based on the images on the slide, it can be concluded that most employees experience burnout in the workplace. This is evident in the first picture. 25 out 30 employees experiencing fatigue, both physical and emotional. Then the second picture, 28 out of 30 employees are depressed, irritable, and quick to offend as a result of work. From the third picture, it can be seen that 20 out of 30 employees are dissatisfied with the result of their work. Next, research question. Based on the problem that have been described, there are several questions that will be discussed in the study. First question, is there any effect of workload on burnout in employees PBI company? Is there any effect of work stress on burnout in employees PBI company? Is there any effect of work family conflict on burnout in employee PBI company? Is there any effect of workload, work stress, and work family conflict on burnout in employees PBI company? Next slide. This research was conducted with the aim of to calculate and analyze the effect between workloads on burnout in employees PBI company. To calculate and analyze the effect between work stress on burnout in employees PBI company. To calculate and analyze the effect of work-family conflict on burnout in employees PBI company. And the last is to calculate and analyze the effect between workload, work stress, and work-family conflict on burnout in employees PBI company. Next, benefit of research. The benefit of this research are for agencies. The finding in this study can be used as a reference in determining the right policies and are usable for human resource management with the scope of the company, so that companies can handle human resource problem properly, including burnout problem in their employees. For practitioners, the finding in this study can add insight and knowledge, especially about burnout and the factors that can influence it. For the university, the finding in this study can be used as reference to develop future research that addresses the same research topic. Next, the following is the definition from experts regarding the variable in the study. According to Dewi's article 2020, defines workload as a series of tasks that are given to employees or must be complete within a certain period of time. From Solomon 2011 defines work stress as a condition of tension experienced by individual and affects emotion, thought processes, and circumstance. From Mudianto 2018 defines work-family conflict is conflict that arises when an employee has a balanced role between work and family. From Sihatang 24 defines burnout is high physical, mental, and emotional fatigue caused by long-term stress. Next, relevant research. The following are previous studies that are relevant I researched. The first research entitled Workload and Work Stress Study in fact burnout on Indonesia's seafaring workers by Raulis Jabat and Reni Hermawati in 2021. The second research entitled The Effect of Workload, Work Stress, and Work-Family Conflict on Burnout in Female Employees Bank Nagari Padang Company by Siska Noperti in 2020. The third research entitled Workload Affect Burnout with Work-Family Conflict Variable as Mediator by Imade Agus Putra Wijaya in 2020. The fourth study entitled Work-Family Conflict on Burnout, The Mediating of Work Stress by Gita Widya and Mega Srijona in 2020. From previous studies, here I will emphasize that my research is different from previous studies. Although there are similarities in research variable, but the object of research, the objectives and research method that I use in this study became a differentiator from previous studies. Next, frame and tools and hypotheses. In order the research to be directed properly in accordance with the research objectives, the following is the conceptual framework of this research. With the first hypothesis, there is influence between workload on burnout. The second hypothesis, there is influence between work stress on burnout. The third hypothesis, there is an influence between work-family conflict on burnout, and the fourth hypothesis, there is influence between workload, work stress, and work-family conflict and on burnout. Next slide, research methodology. This research was conducted at the PBI company with a research time of 6 months. Meanwhile, the research design used a quantitative approach. The population in the study was all employees of the company, which amount to 40 people. Because the population is relatively small, the entire population is used as a sample. As for the sampling technique using the census method, in the development of the instrument, all variables in the study are measured by indicators adapted from experts with amount to 5 indicators. Meanwhile, the data collection process uses questionnaires that are distributed directly to respondents, and for data analyzing using statistical techniques with data processing using the IBM SPS program. The stages in processing the data are using classical assumption tests, multiple linear regression, and hypothesis tests. I would like to thank the lecturer and the audience. I apologize for all my limitations and shortcomings in the presentation of this proposal. I will accept any correction given by the lecturer. I close this presentation. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.